Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to round 3 from my locals this past Saturday. And on the feature, we've got the branded Adventurer Blue Eyes deck that you guys saw in round 1, playing against branded Invoked Shaddoll on the right. Yeah, lots of branded at our locals, if you couldn't tell already. So as these guys get started, let's take a look at the poll results. I asked you guys who you thought would win, and just a little under 800 votes, and it looks like Brandon Invoked Shaddoll in the clear lead right now over Blue Eyes. Let's see if you guys are correct, and we will see the Brandon Invoke deck win the die roll here, and we're going to see him normal summon Alistair. Classic play, right? Go ahead and search Invocation, be linked into the Moon Maiden, activate the Invocation, and go for Mechaba, and then recycle the Invocation back into the deck, add Alistair back for a normal summon. It looks like I see a copy of Ghost Ogre, Dragon Shrine, and what looked to maybe be Draco back here in the opening hand for our, in quotes, Blue Eyes player. And I also see a copy of Polymerization here for our... Yeah, so we're going to see him just straight up use Polymerization to go into Winda, which is hilarious. Using Alistair and the Light Shaddoll. I'm not even sure what its name is, to be totally honest, but it's the Light Shaddoll. That's like named, or based off of the Evil Storm Kirkion, I think. So we will see our... a Blue Eyes player, in quotes, I'm always going to say it, in quotes, Blue Eyes player. Start with the right of Aramesir, grabbing the token, grabbing Fateful Adventure effect to go ahead and grab a monster that lists Adventurer token in its text. We'll see him go ahead and grab the Wandering Griffin Rider, which if you guys saw the round 1 feature match, you know the really good synergy this deck has with a certain monster and its interaction with the Brave Engine. Really interesting. So it looks like we're going to see the Draco back get activated. Hard opening here coming in clutch. Such an incredible going second card. And it's going to attempt to bounce the Winda back, which is kind of a problem here. We will see the Mechaba activate, pitching a spell to negate and banish that. So as one chance out in the window there, unfortunately foiled. He does have the Ogre to trade with the Mechaba. Dragon Shrine getting ashed. And we'll see our Brandon Invoked player just swinging with the window to kill the token. And it looks like before he goes to leave the turn there, activate Griffin Rider, pass turn, just to get a body on field, because, you know, obviously only one special summon per turn. Kind of want to work a little bit on the opponent's turn, and then on your turn, we're going to see an Enchantress get ashed. And then we're going to see him activate Fateful to go ahead and add a monster, discard, and then activate Right, and pass turn. Yeah, and yeah, that's the important reason of wanting to special summon the Griffin Rider during the end phase. Well, I think Griffin Rider's just main phase. I think Griffin Rider's main phase. I want to double check here. Yeah, during the main phase, so. We're going to see the token get ran over again by the Winda, and then we'll see him pass turn. Looks like both players really not in the best position here to make a super huge play. We're going to see him try to resolve the Enchantress one more time. And it will resolve here to go ahead and grab Right. I think what is probably the last copy of Right in the deck. And speaking of Right, this is a card I was actually thinking would probably make the most sense to actually hit on the ban list. Because nothing feels worse than wasting an Ash Blossom on an Enchantress, only for them to already have Right in hand, which is absolutely absurd. So we're going to see Battle Phase, Enchantress get crashed into Winda to trigger Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, since a card was destroyed by Battle card effect. And be able to run over the Winda, and swinging for 2k with the Griffin Rider main phase 2 Right for a token and pass turn. So just like that, back in the driver's seat, And that Rite of Aramesir going to come in very clutch to kind of seal the game there for that Omni Negate. And we're already into a game 2. I'd like to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelists, guys. Check them out at the link below, and don't forget to use my discount code WinnerKill sign off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, like, because I just went on a walk actually before I did this commentary, and I was thinking to myself, what are some cards I'd like to see on the list? And besides the obvious, I was thinking, like, how do you directly address the adventure engine? In my personal opinion, I think it'd be great to see a card like Rite go to 1, just because I feel like it drastically lowers like the grind that the adventure engine can have. Greatly decreases the longevity of it, right, and makes it a bit more fragile. And you definitely have more value actually ashing something like Enchantress. And Rite just gets you so many things. It gets you the token, it gets you Fateful, which gets you so many cards. It's absolutely insane. So instead of hitting something like Enchantress, which still leaves them with the ability to hard open Rite, which is just insane. Arguably better than opening with the Enchantress, right? Because you can't ash the Rite. So we're going to see our Invoked Brandon player here open just a standard Mechaba and DPE. And we're going to see our branded Blue Eyes player lead with Super Poly to go for the Dragostapelia, and then activate a branded fusion here of his own to go for Albion, and then Albion into Lubellion. Lubellion effect, discarding a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So I'm telling you, it's a Blue Eyes deck, in quotes. And then we're going to see Lubellion get belled. Lubellion, I guess that's a good way to remember the fact that you can bell it. I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up here to double check. This card is Fusion Summon. You can discard 1 card, Fusion Summon a level 8 monster, level 8 lower Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling Fusion materials mentioned on it into the deck from your monsters on the field, graveyard, and or face-up banish card. So, yeah, definitely something that can be belled. And that is a very good thing to go ahead and bell in this case, because that's going to prevent him from getting access to Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon, which is just going to be another interruption our Invoked Shaddoll player has to worry about here. Which I'm pretty sure he's on the Brandon engine too. I know it's in the title and was in the poll, but I'm pretty sure he's on Branded. I just don't think he's had a chance to actually see that part of the deck yet. Because he's pretty much always on Fusion War Crimes, as we like to call it. And it looks like that's pretty much going to do it for our Blue Eyes player's turn. Setting a card, end phase, resolving the Ancient Stone, summoning out the Jet Dragon and passing there, granting his entire board, except for Jet Dragon, protection from being destroyed by card effects, which is kind of huge. So we're going to go ahead and see him add Alistair, well, normal summon Alistair, add Invocation off of the Alistair. And I imagine here we'll see him activate Invocation. I know, crazy, right? We also have Celestial and Dasher in grave here, so that's a potential follow-up play, always looming in the background. And looks like there is going, I thought there was maybe going to be a response to the Invocation, but I think he was just thinking on what he wanted to go ahead and banish with the Invo. Looks like he'll clear a Blue Eyes out of the grave, and we're going to see a bell on the Invocation graveyard effect, interestingly enough. I'm actually not sure why the Invocation itself wasn't belled. That's a bit intriguing. But I guess doing it this way, because Invocation is not a once per turn, so if you had multiple copies, you could still just have done it again. And I guess if you bell that effect, it keeps the monster out of his hand, so potentially prevents him from having a monster negate, and prevents him having follow-up next turn. Which I guess kind of helps beat the whole having multiples of each card, because that ends up being a problem a lot of time with the Invocation, or the Alistair engine is like, sometimes ashing Alistair just feels like such a minus, even though it's like such a good thing to do in practice. But if they have another copy, right, it's just like bad luck. But it looks like we're going to see Dragostapelia here force out the Mechaba negate. We'll see him discard a Ghost Spell to go ahead and negate and banish the Dragostapelia. And for the most part, no known interruptions here for our, in quote, Blue Eyes player. Just having Jet Dragon on field, Lubellion, and a set Ultimate Fusion I believe, is that card. Which is a quick play too for Blue Eyes Fusions. So we're going to see him go Battle Phase. Jet Dragon effect will bounce the Mechaba back to the extra deck, and then swinging for 25 with the Lubellion. And then we're going to see a main phase 2 Pot of Prosperity. And it looks like he will be going for 6, so might as well obviously get the extra damage in first before you're under that half damage clause from Prosperity. And we'll see what he's going to reveal here. Probably hoping for right. I mean, Foolish Burial basically is right. But, I mean, this is a tricky situation, right? Because Ash directly checks the deck. Right can definitely check the other threats like Alistair and Celestial Dasher, right? But at the same time, like, I feel like the Brave Engine could also do the same. Unless there's some reason why I'm missing that he didn't go for it, I'm not sure. But he will take the Ash Blossom off of that. And as expected, our Invoke player is going to lead with Invocation, putting back the Alistair, normal summon Alistair. That is going to get ashed. And does he have the Invocation? Does he have the second copy? Unfortunately, he does here. That's one of the things that always sucks, is like making the correct hand trap call, and then your opponent just had the piece they were going to get anyways. And that's one of the reasons why I think like hitting right to 1 is smarter than hitting Enchantress. Right? Because with Foolish in the game, Foolish becoming a very, very powerful card in the game right now just because of this Adventure Engine. Like, they still have 5 copies of right. Whereas if you hit right to 1, they still have... I mean, they still technically have 5 copies, but once the first right is gone, it's gone. They don't have a way to get it back, which is actually huge, honestly. Again, for the longevity of the engine. And it also makes ashing Enchantress more valuable. We're going to see him just establish here Mechaba with 2 sets. And it looks like we're going to see him activate the Stone Graveyard effect to go ahead and add back Jet Dragon. Which is surprisingly an absolute house of a card. Like, if you guys haven't read this card, like, you definitely should. It's a really interesting card. We're going to see Battle Phase here. Lubellion crashing into the Mechaba. And now we're going to see Enchantress activate. That's going to go ahead and get Rite of Aramesir. And that's going to go ahead and search out the Fateful Adventure. And Fateful Adventure is probably going to go ahead and grab the Wandering Griffin Rider here. Establish the Omni Negate. And then, of course, also try to get the Draco back. Yeah, so he'll discard the Jet Dragon and then add Draco back. Battle phase exhausted already at this point, so obviously there's no need to go ahead and put the Griffin Rider in attack. And we'll see him pass there. But yeah, Jet Dragon, like I said, absolute house of a card. Other cards you control not be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And says... Where's the other effect here? It says you can special summon this card from the graveyard if a card or cards on your field is destroyed by a battle card effect, which is insane. Hand or grave, too. Kind of nuts. So we're going to see Fright for Patchwork activate now. And that is going to go ahead and go through. Not going to go ahead and burn the negate there with the Griffin Rider. It's going to go ahead and add Poly and Edgimp Chain. And then we're going to see him normal summon Alistair. Griffin Rider is going to attempt to negate. It will trade with the Imperm 1-for-1. And Invocation here. Yeah, like, I know... I'm like 90% positive there's a branded engine in this deck, and I'm looking pretty sus right now. The fact that it hasn't shown up yet and it's in the title. I'm not trying to mislead. I'm just like 90% sure there's a branded engine in this deck somewhere. But the Invoked engine is just taking center stage here. So we're gonna see him summon Algodes, popping Griffin Rider. And then hard Poly again for Winda with the Light Shaddoll, Edgimp Chain effect. Go ahead and grab another Patchwork for follow-up. Algodes effect, banish Mechaba, Winda over the token. Algodes attacking for, I think, 5k because it gains the attack of the fusion monster that it banishes. Pass turn. Can our Blue Eyes player get out of this? Our BA player, right? Blue Eyes Adventurer. Can you get out of this jam? We're going to see him activate Fateful, add Enchantress, pitch Enchantress, Enchantress effect, go ahead and add Right. And again, this is why I think Right should go to 1, because like if Right was at 1 right now, be out of gas as far as the Adventure Engine is concerned. But luckily here, it's just not going to make a huge difference. On the summon of that token, Agoti's just going to blow it up. And that's going to be the end of Game 2 here. We are into a Game 3 situation. And we're going to see Blue Eyes lead things here. I think I see a copy of Pot of Prosperity in the opening hand. And another thing, too. Like, a lot of decks right now, like the base decks playing Prosperity, which just increases your chance of like seeing Right like by tenfold. And a lot of the times, it just feels like hand traps almost get 0 value. Or correct hand trapping just like doesn't feel correct. Like it just gets punished because they just happen to open the funny spell card, which just like literally gets so much. Like Enchantress, like you don't even need it. You just start Right. You just skip a step, right? Obviously, like it's just more copies of Right. That's why I think I know I've talked about this a lot already, but I just feel like Right should definitely just go to 1. At least I would hope to see it. Is the Adventure Engine still very new, right? Yes. I don't really care about how new any type of card is. If it needs to get hit, I feel like it should be hit as soon as possible. But I know that isn't always the case because business practices, but I digress. Either way, Pot of Prosperity is going to reveal 2 Super Polys, a Skill Drain, Raigeki, Jet Dragon, and the mighty Blue Eyes White Dragon. So we're going to go ahead and see him take the Skill Drain here. That'll definitely stop Alistair. Activate Wandering Griffin Rider and pass on that. Not the strongest opening here, but Griffin Rider plus a Skill Drain in the backline. Pretty strong. I'm going to see our Invoked Destiny player here, I guess. Lead with Fusion Destiny. That is going to force out the Griffin Rider. And then following it up with a Battle Phase evenly matched. And, you know, the way tokens work, they cannot be banished face down, so you have to get rid of everything but the token. Triple T to draw 2 into Alistair. Absolutely disgusting. Our Blue Eyes player here getting his back blown out. You hate to see it. But yeah, we're going to see him go Invocation, banish the Jet Dragon, banish the Alistair, Invocation, recycle itself to the deck, Alistair back to hand. Activate a second copy of Fusion Destiny, since it is a you can only activate once per turn. And I still don't understand why there's a discrepancy on certain cards. Like why some cards say you can only use, and why some cards are you can only activate. I personally think every card should be a you can only use. So if you negate one, you don't get hard punished by your opponent having another copy. Another personal take there, I guess. I'm just giving takes out in this video. I don't know why. But we're going to see Foolish start things off here. Mechaba negate, and that is just going to be the end right there. Rather quick game 3. And Invoked Shaddoll taking it 2-1. If you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Tweeter 0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Keith Sidgers, Justin Lamb, Master Visa, and HCH Cyber. Thank you guys so much as always for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.